Hey, Barbara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Did you hear that Bill's internet is not working?
Yeah, I think he's going to be coming up to the town hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's hilarious is that yesterday Comcast was over at our house to try to hook us up to the internet, and we were going to be switching everything over to Comcast and Xfinity, our cell phone. So right now I'm feeling kind of glad the guy didn't get it to work.
Wow. Couldn't get it to work?
He came over thinking he was going to do things underground, and I told him everything. My house has above ground service, so he wanted it all prepared. So they're coming again tomorrow. But man, after this, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wonder how widespread it is.
Yeah.
I have Comcast. Mine is working.
Oh, that's good to know. So there's hope for me yet.
Yeah, mine is working.
Did you see this purchase of the laptop that was just sent out by Deb Kelly?
Yeah.
I don't understand the setup 2 hours. What requires a setup?
I think
What's
Chris
this?
probably has the answer.
Yeah, I just wondered what that was about.
My guess is they require various security things on it, because it's a town piece of equipment that the town owns, and it's going to be having everything that's on his that he needs to have that's currently on his desktop, because he's going to have to be moving around a lot when they're doing stuff at the plant.
Okay, I just wondered what it's about, why it requires a setup.
Yeah. What's that? There's a website down. What is it called? Down detector. That's it.
Hey guys.
Ah,
Hi.
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 I could hear you, but I couldn't communicate to you.
All right, so give us just a minute. Bill is here and getting set up, and as soon as he's ready to go, we can start.
Bill is put
Hi,
down at the
Angie.
town hall.
Yeah, he didn't have internet at his house, so thankfully we all are still connected, so he came down here.
Hi, Angie, are you there? Maybe she stepped away.
Oh, sorry, Laurel. I'm here.
Oh, hi.
It takes me a second to pull up the mute and unmute on my phone.
Good. Good. I'm glad you're here. I'm just wondering, Angie, when they changed the sewer tariff, which was a long time ago, did Kuzi actually come in and do that?
Well, they don't come in, but they were the ones that actually did it.
So I
That is above
yeah.
my pay grade. I don't do that.
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that they actually came to Harper's Ferry, but they actually went in electronically onto the website and they changed it.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We got a notice from Comcast that they were down, and we verified they're down at the house. And it showed that our whole region, like all of 25425, is considered the service outage area, but clearly business grade is up. Maybe it's, and Laurel, you're on Comcast, so
Yeah,
maybe it's just
I don't
me.
have business Comcast.
Yeah, and I'm on Comcast and I'm okay.
Wow. So I feel picked on now by Comcast.
Uh,
But anyway, it's after 7, so we're gonna get rolling. Until further notice, the Corporation of Harpers Ferry's governing and deliberative bodies will hold meetings and/or hearings virtually via Zoom webinar, which provides for public participation during a public comment period when applicable and when posted on the agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch meetings by YouTube video live stream or listen by telephone. These options comply with the Open Governmental Meetings Act. The Zoom webinar link to participate in town meetings and/or hearings can be found on the meetings and events calendar on the Harpers Ferry webpage at www.harpersferrywv.us/calendar.html. Visit https://www.harpersferry.wv.us/MISC/virtual meetings information.pdf for further information on how to view and participate in the town's virtual meetings and/or hearings. And I will call the meeting to order at 7:07. Do we have minutes to approve? I think I saw some come through. Laurel,
Yes, I sent out some minutes on Monday.
and that's for the April
uh,
meeting.
For the April meeting, April 21st.
Laurel, I sent you a couple of edits to make to the minutes having to do with the folks who were present. I was wondering if you could put Colin Stein as the Jefferson County Water Advisory Committee
Yes.
representative, and
Okay, I will add that.
and Tanner Haid with West Virginia Rivers.
Okay, that's fine.
Didn't we have a couple of some minutes from a previous meeting that Laurel hadn't had a chance to read?
Well, there's Bill's minutes from
Yeah,
those 5 minutes.
yeah. So those have not been, some of them have not been approved because you needed a chance to read them.
I did read them and I think they're fine.
Well, I had some changes to them. Did those get incorporated?
The ones that you said in the meeting, yes.
Okay.
The
Well,
ones you,
They were to Bill's. They were to Bill's minutes. Did someone?
I made changes. Wrote down the changes to the, I assume they're the same changes for all of them as far as the general, like who's the recorder and that kind of stuff. I don't recall what your changes were for the ones that Laurel hadn't had a chance to read yet.
Uh-oh.
well, I listened to the meeting and all the changes that were talked about in that meeting, I made the changes in the files and then I sent it to Bill.
Wait, which minutes are you talking about?
Those 5 files that were Bill's
Okay, so
minutes.
you made the changes to Bill's minutes then.
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
made the changes to Bill's minutes and then I
Okay.
sent it to Bill.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll review those and get them to Kevin then.
Oh.
Well, we have to vote on them.
Okay. Well, but we amended them. So now we're talking about, I guess, since we've already discussed all the changes we need to make to them, we vote on them as amended.
Right.
Okay. But we don't have any new changes to make.
You're right. But
The only person who hadn't
list
weighed
it
in on
out.
the wall. Okay.
Whoever does the emotion, they have to list out the dates of them. So do you have those dates, Laurel?
I would have to look in my sent folder. This will take me a minute. Let's see. So Okay. These minutes are for January of 2020, February of 2020, and then also August, September, July, August, and September of 2020. So I'll make a motion that we accept these 5 minutes for the 5 months of last year that I just mentioned, and also the April 21st minutes of this year as amended.
Okay, as long as you add the actual date of the meeting on the minutes. So it says the minutes of water commission meetings, and then list out the dates of the minute there that.
Yeah, I would do that. I
Time.
wouldn't just say the minutes and then I mean
Yeah.
all 6 minutes without saying what it is. I would do that.
Yeah, okay. So as long as they're in the thing, because when I was going through trying to find the minutes when they were approved, I needed that.
Okay.
Well, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended? Please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right,
Now you make sure they get to Kevin, because right now there's nothing after November
Yep.
2019.
yep, we got to get them to Kevin.
Yeah.
And I have them because she sent them to me. And I don't see Tanner Haid here.
He's here. Hang on.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't see any agenda up on the website or town website for this meeting.
Well, it was sent to Kevin, and I did include it in the email with the Zoom invitation. It's the first attachment.
Okay, well, I got it, but we were looking for it on the online, just in case people.
That it was sent to
I
Kevin.
don't have the ability to post it there. I am going to give you my chair's report time, Tanner, so you can be at the beginning of the meeting.
If Tanner's available, rather than have him sit through the meeting toward the end of the agenda, could we?
That's what I did. That's what I just did. I'm gonna
Okay.
have him go now. Hi,
Howdy,
Dan.
everyone. Thanks for letting me join tonight. Sounds like Harper's Ferry, we're having some internet issues. We're not having that in Charlestown. So glad I could be a part of the meeting tonight. I was looking for the agenda, the packet. My overall goal tonight was just to come back from last month and continue our conversations about the designated program we've been talking about and offer our support in helping to keep Harper's Ferry on track. I sent you all some items for the agenda. Did you all get into the agenda the list of project ideas that Christy and I had talked about back in April? Is that in your all's packet at all?
No, it's not, but.
Okay. That's okay. So again, just real quick as a recap, you all did a great job 2 weeks ago celebrating what became for Harper's Ferry Drinking Water Month, which is pretty cool. It just kind of worked out with talking with Barbara to get on the council's agenda to just go ahead and make it for the month. You all, I think, led the state in sharing some of the drinking water memes that we created, which was really great. Did you all get any feedback from those from anybody? That's okay. That's okay. It got out there and we saw it at least. And I'm sure other folks did as well that follow you all. So of the designation program, you all remember there's 4 standards. One of them is a commitment to celebrating Drinking Water Week, which you all did on social media because of the pandemic and also with the mayor oral proclamation. So Barbara, at the next council meeting, please make sure to share with Mayor Bishop our appreciation for him signing that and taking part in that celebration. So that was one of the standards. The one tonight that I think we would want to spend just a few minutes talking on before you all move on is the projects. If you remember, for a system the size of Harper's Ferry to meet the designation standard over the year, you all need to do 2 source water related projects. projects that engage both you all as the water system and the community, and that support your all's source water protection work, and that are voluntary, things that are not something you would be required to do by DEP or EPA in any way, but kind of showing that you all are doing exemplary work, going above and beyond. Christy and I had met back in April to just kind of map out some project ideas. Do you happen to have those, Christy, to share or walk through it all? I think our goal for sharing those would just be to kind of get your all's feedback, as the projects would have to be engage both the community and the system. It wouldn't necessarily be a good project if it was just me out there doing things. It needs to really be all of us together. You all, West Virginia Rivers, and the community working together on 2 projects. So if you don't have those, Christy, I can kind of do a quick recap. And you might be muted if you're talking.
Yeah, Chrissy's muted.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
This is when you said the follow-up, is that what it would be?
Yes.
All right, you had the summary of source water protection communities designation program, overlap of the overlap matrix of fundable projects. You created that matrix, or the sorts of things that we could do, and we went through those, and we picked out a couple of them that we thought would work well. Let's see. What we had here, the first 2 options will be coordinated directly by West Virginia Rivers, with optional opportunities for the Water Commission to engage. The 3rd and 4th options would require more direct engagement from the Water Commission and could count towards your 2 projects. The 5th option, septic pumping, would need to be administered. And let me see if you actually have that thing on here. Yeah, I think.
And do folks see what Christy's reading from? I wasn't able to see your all's packet.
Let me see if I can bring this up and share it. You want me to share that project ideas?
That might be helpful. I know the big thing to convey as you're pulling that up or finding a way to share it is that we do have about $7,000 in funding to support you all in those 2 projects. So we have the funding. Again, the big thing is it just can't be West Virginia Rivers leading. It kind of needs to be a partnership-based effort, a community-based effort here. And so the goal for tonight for Christy and I would just be to share that and get your all's quick takes and your direction on next steps that you all would like to see everyone take, so we can move forward.
I'm trying to bring it up, but it's an Excel spread. Oh, here we go. I think this is it. I hope this is it. Let me see if I can figure out how to share this one. Share. Share. Where's share screen? Okay, wait a second. I got this email here too, so let me get that email so it's not taking up so much.
So as Christy's working on pulling that up, what I can tell you just kind of as a preface for what you have to the spreadsheet, there were 5 project ideas that kind of floated out of the conversation, but 3 of those are related to outreach elements for a 3-acre riparian forest buffer project that West Virginia Rivers helped fund and establish a few months ago at Gapview Farm being the headwaters of the Elks Run. So we have a few kind of active projects where there might be places for Harpers Ferry Water Commission to kind of jump in and support. And then there's 2 other
Tanner.
ideas. Yeah, please, Barbara.
That particular project out at
Gapview Farm.
Buckles Farm, the Gapview Farm, is that still an active area for planting trees?
So the tree planting we did was about 3 acres. I believe she has about another 12 acres of buffer that she would like to see planted. So the first phase, the tree planting that we were funding so far is done, but there's more opportunities in the future.
So that could be still one of our projects, one of our 2 projects that.
It could be an option. You know, that project to do the 3 acres, it was about a $20,000 project. But the trees were a portion of that, but a big portion was also the labor to do it from a local technical service provider. There's other options, like a volunteer tree planting is not as expensive as that, but there's still some costs.
Did it come up?
Yeah, and Christy, what you're showing on the screen is just just so folks see, it's kind of an overlap matrix of, in the different columns are from your all source water protection plan, and the rows
This is what you
are,
want up?
well, maybe,
There was
it's
an
helpful
email.
just to
There
show
was an
this.
email. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just, it's helpful to show this, these are the type of projects that are fundable, or what you're seeing on the screen, the rows here being the different types of conservation practices identified in the Elks Run watershed-based plan. The funding we have has to try to bring together your all source water protection plan for protecting drinking water with this watershed-based plan for overall water quality improvements. So it just provides kind of a overall playbook of what types of projects are fundable. And there's a good bit here, both implementable projects, which are in white, as well as more education or outreach-based projects in gray.
My problem is I can't, every time I want to bring something up, I have to open that application so I can bring it up. And it's not showing me the full name on your email, so I don't know which is which.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can just talk folks to it real quick. In which case you wouldn't need to keep this up unless it's kind of just helpful for folks to see the different types of options. But the two that I think we would have a lot of benefit on, 2 to 3 here, is we did work before the pandemic with Brandon and Potomac Valley Audubon Society in doing some youth education at TA Lowry Elementary School, with Potomac Valley Audubon Society doing the youth education. And what we had planned, it was in March of 2020, so it didn't pan out all the way, but was for the students to do some sort of field trip, not into the treatment facility down on Bakerton Road, but to the stream, to sample water quality in the stream, and maybe have Brandon, or maybe it would have been Chris if it would have happened, maybe come out and just tell a little bit more about their work and what they do. And that's still a great option. And that's still something I know PBAS is still doing their watershed youth education programming. And it would just be trying to bring in that water utility perspective, some sort of engagement from the commission or from Chris and his staff to kind of learn a little bit more about their work. So that was an option. Chris, did you have something to say on that?
Well, it's just right now it's a little difficult because they're working on that particular area. They're down actually working on putting in a my intake pump station, which is going to be near the creek. I don't know if the construction.
They might not be doing field trips anyways at this point. So
Yeah, that's a
another
good
option
point.
would be, instead of the kids coming down there, maybe Chris, you or one of your staff, if it all worked out, could go to the school to show them maybe some of the tests that you do.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a
Or,
problem.
And that would be another way. And that's just to give an example. That's what we're trying to make sure we're encouraging, is those elements of bringing your all's work to the community and the community to you all. That's the type of projects we're looking for. At least in 2020, when we supported them, it was for 4 to 6 lessons and a field trip that they ended up doing virtually. It was around 2,500 for Audubon Society's staff time to coordinate that. So that's an option for you all. You all don't have to decide hard and fast what you want to do tonight, but hopefully have some general direction of what sort of ideas you like, and maybe who would be the person I would try to coordinate with on your all's side, if it's Christy or Barbara or Chris, Bill, whoever it would be. So that was one option. And the other option that we had talked about a little bit is, if you all remember, it was in July of 2020 as well, so close to about a year ago, West Virginia Rivers worked with the Eastern Panhandle Conservation District on a septic pumping program, where we offered free septic pumpings to people within the Elks Run watershed.
That's an
And
excellent
that's
idea.
something that we could do again. That ran around $300 per septic pumped, where we could focus in maybe a little bit on properties, older homes in the zone of critical concern, for example, and send out a mailing and support some pumping. So that was another option that is big in your all source water protection plan. We know it's a good practice.
I really like that one.
And
Yeah.
that was a little bit more expensive, but it's a doable option. What we would need though is, even though West Virginia Rivers can support that, we have a model we created with the Conservation District for how essentially we gave a lump sum with our grant funding to the Conservation District, and they doled out to the septic pumping provider those funds as they were doing the work. So we worked with one provider, they would do the work and then get reimbursed. Whenever the Conservation District met, they would say, well, we had 3 pumpings this month, that would be this amount, and they would cut a check to the provider. So it was a good partnership with them. And so we would probably look to the Water Commission with that model, which I can explain in more detail. With maybe if you all wanted to pursue that, I can meet with 1 or 2 of you all to workshop that a little bit more. But we would probably look to you all to be that same sort of fiduciary agent, to take the lump sum and then dole out the funds to the septic pumping provider as the work gets completed, if that makes sense. And so we have that model. It's a little bit much to go in, but the basic of it, like I mentioned, we get the funds to you all. We do some outreach together. The landowners work with the septic pumping provider to pump the approved projects that we have. And then the septic pumping provider comes to you all for reimbursement. So as a landowner, not only is it free, but you get a postcard knowing you're eligible. You contact us to sign up. You work with the septic pumping provider. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket to get reimbursed later. It was really a win-win, we found.
Right.
Again, we just need that that fiduciary agent for the Water Commission, which is a great role for you all at your monthly meetings to approve those, just like the district did.
Tanner, the best thing that happened about that model is that the homeowners got a direct notification through a postcard, and they did not have to put any money out of pocket up front. How do we get the names of the people who have older homes, let's say, in the zone of critical concern?
I can assist with that. I have a GIS map layer of all the tax parcels in the county where we can select. We can definitely select for properties within the zone of critical concern. And then as a Water Commission, you all could, for the project, put on any requirements you wanted to. So for example, for the Conservation District, they said, we just want to do first come, first serve. We just want to, whoever applies first, they'll get the funds. You all could say we have an open application period and we're going to select based off of your home age or your need, or if there's a way of measuring if they have a financial need, where like if there's a way of measuring income, you all could put some parameters on that to make it a little bit more equitable, for example, to make sure it's going to not just where there's the biggest water quality need, but also where there's the biggest need demographically.
Yeah.
And we could look into the mapping data we have to see, home age might not be the best indicator, but if we have it, that would be perhaps an indicator. If it's an older home, it's most likely an older septic system, that sort of thing.
And do we know, and I'm sure we know, who has already responded? And at this point, I think there were 20 some people.
Yeah, I forget the number. I should remember if it was 20 or 25, somewhere in that range. We did a different selection method, but we know we would definitely not fund those 20 individuals. We know their names and could exclude them from the list. So if there's interest there, maybe that's where we should get to tonight. Just because I know you have a lot of your meeting, and what I would like from you all is, if youth education and septic pumping are the directions we want to go, is who within the Water Commission or on staff would I be able to talk with kind of outside of this meeting to workshop those ideas even further, like in a more in-depth fashion, so that maybe in the June meeting we could come back with, here's the plan, so we could start all working towards it. Who of you all would want to work on that with me?
I'll work with you for the next upcoming month on that.
Okay.
Everybody.
And again, our folks, Chris, go ahead.
If I have time, I don't have a problem. I mean, if I can contribute in any way, I'll most definitely help you.
Well, I know you can definitely contribute on the youth education component because I love that idea of they're elementary school kids, but it's still cool to know we need more water operators. We need more people like you and letting them know that
Yeah,
that's a job and it's cool. And so I think maybe, Chris, what we could do is maybe I could talk with you about the youth education bit.
Okay.
And then I'll
Okay.
talk to Barbara about septic. And that
Okay,
way it's
that's
not
fine.
burdening either of you with both, but kind of working it separately. Does that work with you all?
Yeah.
Any Christy or Bill or Laurel, anything else? Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
this to
Yeah, I
me
was
is
just
exactly what I
gonna
wanted to
say-
get tonight. I could talk on this a lot more, but I know you guys have plenty of other things in your meeting tonight. Are you all good with the direction so far? Kind of we'll flesh out these ideas and bring back one more time in June, kind of more flesh out ideas for where we're going next.
Yes. Thank
Okay,
you, thank you,
okay.
Jana, for coming and all the time you spent on this. Really
Well,
appreciate it.
you all do great work. And again, I think you guys are picking up where we're coming from here is if it's just us, it's not working, but having Chris and Barbara and Christy bring it to this point and Bill and Laurel, it'll be a team effort as we go. But we'll workshop these ideas a little bit more and bring you a little bit more information to put into your packet agenda next month to keep the conversation alive.
All right, sounds good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we take down the share screen?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
All right. Angie, you're up.
All right, so last month, we had 2 customers that were terminated due to non-payment of their April bill. One paid and the other one is still currently off. This house is a house that is a second home. The person lives out of state and she only comes in several times a month. So I will be more than happy to have her service reinstated once she reaches out and pays her past due amount.
Has she responded at all?
No, when I attempted to, well, first of all, we sent out the letter of termination. Then typically we do the 2 robocalls, and then if I still don't hear from someone, I either put on a hanger on the door, or or reach out to them personally. So when I called her, her voicemail box was full. So even though she didn't receive the actual robocalls and my voicemail, I feel that we have done our due diligence in attempting to contact her. And even though her voicemail isn't currently functioning, she still has those missed calls. So
Yeah.
I have confidence that she will reach out when she comes back and realizes she doesn't have any water. Yeah. So, any other questions about that?
Have you heard anything from NPS about the bill you sent out last Friday?
Well, the actual billing goes out to 2 different people. The Mather Training Center goes to one person. And then all of the other NPS bills go to another person. I have no idea why that is the way that it is, but that is how I've been asked to do it. And so that's what I do. Both of them, excuse me, both of them reached out to me and were like, are you serious? Are these bills really correct? And so I explained to both of them what had happened, how we got to where we are, and that when I sent out particularly the one that has the master invoice attached, what I did was on the invoice, I highlighted in yellow all of those accounts that we had identified as being incorrect, and now they are correct. There were actually 14 of those. And then the ones, there are 8 more. Well, there were 14 in all. So 8 were identified and corrected. Then there are 6 more that I highlighted in gray, and the gray specifies those accounts that we know are going to need to be corrected. We just ran out of time and haven't had the opportunity to correct those, but those will be correct by the time the June bills go out.
So will they be paying for the, so the ones that have not yet been corrected, what is the expectation for their payment this month?
Well, in honesty, out of those 6, there's only 1 that is really high. Laurel worked with me to take out the ones that were, really, really high, like $6,000 was one. And so we worked to get the larger invoices corrected first. So the only large one that is left that has to be corrected is the wager building. And it is, it's a lot, but it's certainly not $6,000 worth. And then all the other ones were very, very small, like a difference of less than $10.
Okay.
So if basically we're saying if they pay the bills and they're not correct yet, there'll be a credit. There'll be either a credit or additional charge on there that would amend the one for next time.
Okay.
It would be amended during this
Yes.
time before the new charges get put on.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I got a question, Angie. So you
Mhm.
said there are 8 that were corrected, but I remember that you and I, at least the ones I was involved with, only corrected 2. So maybe you did some of the others on your own. Is that right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, those were those were a lot smaller, and they were not as complicated. For example, the one that you and I worked on that had the $6,000 bill, that was a compound meter. So that was a lot more to kind of wrap our heads around. The other ones were very much, straightforward. That was much more simple to do. AKA the math was easier. So,
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
was able to figure those out, because I certainly didn't want to take up your precious time with making alterations that were only, $50 or $60.
I would like to add something on there real quick too. So they just got done reading the Park Service and everything on with we call it book 1 today, and we got everything read. including follow-up readings where they had to go back and do rechecks. Spanos actually went out and followed them up to make sure that the ones that they couldn't get, we were able to get the Park Service to get us to read them. So this time we got everything. It looks to me like we got it pretty well straightened out at this particular moment. Wouldn't you agree, Angie?
Well, I was unaware.
Oh, okay.
that
Well,
he
it
had
just
gone
happened
out.
today. Yeah.
I was unaware that he had gone back to do those because I was under the impression that he was waiting on work orders, which I have not issued because
Yeah,
I didn't know what addresses they had not been to yet.
Yeah, he only had to go. Apparently, they were very successful this time. That's why you hadn't received anything yet. They were able to get to all of them except for a couple, and so at lunchtime during my my halftime meeting, they were able to coordinate together, and he went back out and got the ones, and we'll be giving those to you tomorrow. So it was a really successful day.
And I have a question, Chris. We were just talking about the compound meter that's at the interpretive
67
design-
Matters Training Center.
Yeah, the Interpretive Design Center. So when they go read that compound meter, there's actually 2 meters to read, right?
Yeah, it's a high flow, low flow. So it's a meter that's designed to capture. It's a large meter. I believe it's a 3-inch meter. So it's designed to capture not only high volumes of water, but more importantly, low volumes of water, where like a toilet being flushed or something that an ordinary large meter, like a turbine meter or something of that nature wouldn't catch.
Well,
So a
here's my
compound meter is
question.
like a very accurate meter.
My question is, as I understand it, is the big meter is inside the building and the smaller meter is outside the building?
No,
right?
that's incorrect. They're actually, a compound meter is 1 meter combined. They sit side, the registers themselves that actually read the meter sit side by side, and one detects low flow and the other one detects high flow volume of water.
Are they both inside or?
Yes, they are both inside on the same meter.
Okay. Well, I there was just some different information coming back. Some
of it you may be interpreting that some of it was actually a fire line on some of them that we don't register that's strictly for when they're fire testing the lines and stuff like that, or in case there is a fire, God forbid.
Okay, so when the guys are, I just want to make sure I could understand, and because then when I look at Kuzi, I want to be able to understand what I'm interpreting there. So they go to this compound meter, which is 2 meters right next to each other, and they get 2 readings.
Yeah,
And there's a place to
all,
put in both readings into the handheld.
yes, there's a spot for it. I had that. Me and Kuzi sat down together because of the time. It was too complicated for the water clerk, and we sat down. It wasn't Angie, it was somebody else. And we sat down and put it in together. Kuzi showed me how to do it at the time. But basically, you put both readings in, and it calculates it for you. Isn't that right, Angie? It actually adds the 2 meters. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Does.
So,
Mhm.
all right. So we're looking for, in that case, those 2 meters are next to each other and they're inside the building. Is that
Correct.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
That's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is there anything we need to do tonight on this,
On what?
on the NPS?
It's
I don't
been
believe
done.
there is on my end. Laurel and I are going to get together to try to finish them up within the next couple of days. But the important thing is that I feel confident that the June bills will all be accurate
Okay.
and
All
up
right,
to
yeah.
date.
Well, there's like two steps. This is a two-step procedure. The first step is to get the meter, account for how the water is all at the end and sort of redistribute it through the 12 months or so that they aren't overcharged for that water. But of course, the sewer bill is very high and we can't help that because they didn't pay for that sewer water yet. I mean, the wastewater. So that's one step. The next step is changing koozie to so that the correct meter size is in koozie for each meter. So that's the next step to do, but we're getting the other step done first.
Correct.
And then there's another, because I noticed there's a slight problem with these wastewater tariff inside koozie. I'm meeting with one of the koozie representatives tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to look at the koozie tariffs and just check it and make sure they are all correct, because I've noticed a slight problem with the wastewater tariff in the system. And I don't know if there's any other problems.
Good job, Laurel.
Yeah.
And I know you've been working really hard on this,
Well, not
along with Angie. I don't,
like, I think Angie's
Yeah.
really put in time and had to do
Yeah,
all
she
the other
has.
work as well.
yes, she has.
Okay. Is there anything further we need to discuss regarding the Harpers Ferry Water Works proposal to establish its social media presence? I know we discussed it with the town council briefly at their last meeting. Sort of trying to get some guidance as to who we need to talk to and how we go about doing it. And I don't know that we've received that yet.
So today I actually, me and Barb sat down and got a little blog out to Pat, who I believe actually is putting that in along with a picture. So I think we're doing our first
That's
No,
not.
that's for the
that's
new.
not what-
it isn't. It isn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's for
I
the
misunderstood. Yeah.
The town council wanted to have more information about management and oversight. And there was some talk about it going before the office ops, I think.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So I guess that what we need to do is figure out who's gonna be the primary person responsible for maintaining our, I guess it'll be a Facebook page. And I think we should probably get ahead of ourselves on developing content so that we don't, once you start something like this, you have to maintain it. And, the content has to be, it can't get super stale and that kind of thing. We have to be responsive. So we have to really commit ourselves to being diligent and responsive, and also sort of staying on message. And how we handle things like when people use the Facebook page to express their frustrations to us and things like that, and how we're going to handle those things. Social media is one of those things that we won't get tons out of it other than the ability to communicate directly, which would be excellent. But you can also screw up really badly with it. So it's, we need to work that out. I don't know who would like to be, or what everyone is thinking about as far as who would run this and be the primary person for it. But we need to figure that out and then sort of come up with our strategy about what we want as far as messaging, the kind of things we want to project, and how we will handle responding to interactions with the public. Don't everybody talk at once?
Well, that could be an administrative task,
Yes, good.
going along the line of the ideas that were put out there for an administrative job description.
Correct. And we could sort of table that discussion for that, I suppose, but it's something to be thinking about, because we want this to have we want to be projecting our best face to the public and
Yeah.
being open, communicating clearly.
I mean, I guess you guys want me to at least give some sort of description with pictures if you want me to, with what's going on, provided that it's not too detailed or, but I can always provide fun pictures. It's up to you. So.
Oh, of course. Well, you'll be providing us with all kinds of stuff to put on there once we figure out how we're gonna do it and that sort of thing.
I mean, right now I have information overload as far as what they got going on. I mean,
Yeah.
so I have plenty of data to give you
we've
guys.
only just begun. So I guess there's nothing for us to do currently on that.
If it's something that you feel is very timely, perhaps there should be some of you or somebody thinking about what the structure could be and maybe setting a date to come up with some ideas so that it just doesn't fall through the cracks.
Well, it's something I've been thinking about is because we already have a town Facebook page and we already do post things there. You know how, TV series that you watch sometimes will create a spinoff, and they create the spinoff by having the characters for the new show appear in the show that it's spinning off from.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we take a month or two of posting a thing or two, the really exciting stuff that we want to share, ask Kevin to put that on the town Facebook page for us, and then sort of build up to, an announcement that we have our own Facebook page, and then start putting our content there. But in the interim, I think, we can do little, something like a press release or a little bulletin from us about what's going on that gets up on the town Facebook page, and then evolve from that to our own presence, if that makes sense.
I think that's a very good idea. And the item that Chris was going to talk about that he worked on with me this morning could be something, Chris, that would go up with a picture up on the Facebook page, as well as being in the town newsletter.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Angie, didn't you want to get involved in some of this too? Didn't you have some knowledge in Facebook that you were, or am I putting words in your mouth? I don't want to.
Where's Angie?
Where is Angie?
She was there just a second ago, and she disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Well, she's on the phone, so maybe we lost her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I can answer that a little bit, and I don't want. I don't want to put words in her mouth either, but I know she was looking at just updating people about water loss, and I mean, not water loss, but outages and that kind of thing that are unpredictable.
Right. Yeah, she has some good ideas. I know that. So,
but I like Bill's idea of the transition. It might give us the opportunity to explore a little bit and understand the roles and responsibilities we're going to need.
Yeah. Get our feet wet a bit. Christy.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm on Facebook a lot with the Jefferson County Development Authority, their page, which I share a lot. And I got to tell you, a lot of times I'm the only one that's liking these pages. That For the water, that goes for the town council, the town's page. Yeah, they don't get a lot of traffic.
Well, hopefully it'll change.
Laurel has her hand up.
I didn't hear Angie talk about the bill insert. What is the next billing insert? Did she say? Or
Hang
did
on,
you
I'm
wait?
promoting her into panelist. Hang on a second. She's just rejoining.
Okay,
You have to repeat the question for her. When she gets in, give her a sec.
okay.
Can you hear us, Angie? Angie?
She's muted.
You got your mute on.
Can you unmute Angie?
Angie, I have a question for you. Did you, I think I might have interrupted you and you had some more of your report to do. But did you say what the next billing insert was going to be?
I think, I
Well,
think it's the one.
Can you hear us, Angie?
well, I can ask her later.
I think it
You
has
can
to
go
do
on.
with the sewer- it has to do with the sewer department, something they needed to send out to their customers.
I think you're right. Eddie dropped off a box of paper this
Yeah.
week.
Okay,
And she's going to put in on the front of the bill in red letters, a notice about the vacant seat that Bolivar that's available to a Bolivar
okay,
representative.
great.
Cool.
So we killed two birds with one stone.
Good.
All right. Well, I guess let's move on to Chris. With the water superintendent's report.
Yeah, yes, I am. So this is kind of interesting. Let me give you a quick rundown on this. Since the beginning of this, I've been having help with and I appreciate all the help that I've gotten with editing of my report and showing me how to do these things. And today I ended up with two renditions. One slash some more, and then some others slash some more. So I'm getting the hint that less is better. So I'm going to work on that, guys. And let me start out with water loss. The water loss for the month of April was 13.22%. Leak
Wow.
detection efforts are ongoing, I know. But only a few small leaks were required our attention this month, for which we count ourselves fortunate, given our aging infrastructure. Systems renovation. We are making progress on the replacement design location of the water main that is currently located in the Elk Run. We are reviewing multiple approaches to relocation of this main, and we will be putting the project out for bid soon. Sludge removal continues to be a priority, both for the progression of the construction on the plant, as well as for addressing historical sludge accumulation. At this point, I have contacted and observed technical demonstrations from 3 leading manufacturers of state-of-the-art radio read meters. Once we receive detailed technical and financial specifications from all 3 that suit our application needs, we will be performing an in-depth evaluation and making a recommendation to the town council. And a special shout out. I want to thank Chris Spanos for coordinating experts who came in to fix the chlorine problem that occurred Wednesday, May 12th, when the chlorination system at the plant went offline. Chris handled the situation and got us back online before there was any customer impact. We currently we dropped our tank levels down to 12 feet, guys. The lowest I've ever dropped it down to was 8 during derecho. So this one was pretty important. I just have to say we're trying to land this ship. That's what I feel like we're doing. Is we have an old plant that I'm trying to land in for a smooth landing, and hopefully the new plant will be online soon. That's all I got.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
That was informative and efficient.
thank you. Thank you.
That pretty much updates us on the radio read meter. You'd mentioned that the most recent vendor you were in contact with and are in the process of setting
Yes,
up demo is Master Meter.
Yes, I'm currently getting a list together that Angie's putting together for me. It's a list of all the addresses that he needs from Master Meter in order for them to go forward with presentations or whatnots from them. But they're pretty in depth as far as what they want from us. As far as they just want to know locations and stuff like that as well. So, I'm very interested in what they have to offer. Let me just put it that way. As well as the rest of them. As well as the rest of them.
Yeah.
Barb has her hand up, and Angie's trying to join again, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Laurel.
I'm wondering if there can be a side-by-side comparison of so far, I think we've looked at what, 3
Yes.
lead vendors. Is there a way to do a side-by-side comparison in some way of finding commonality in their
Yeah.
across the
Well-
board in charges and fees and services and warranties and
We're working on developing our list now. It's something Deb and I have talked about a bit, and I know that we've talked about it with Chris a bit in the abstract, and we're kind of going to come up with it's going to be a spreadsheet of, how everybody compares, sort of, so we can do a really thorough pro and con analysis. The problem is that there are a lot of data points for comparison.
Yes, there are.
And, there's a lot of, and we have to sort of, I think first pass will be to pare that list down so that this doesn't take 10 years to figure out. And, pick the things that will impact. We're looking at this from a 5 or 10 year return on investment for the town kind of analysis, rather than just what's the most cost efficient in the present. And it's going to take, banging on these vendors hard to get them to give us the kind of financing options that we really want, that, give us the opportunity to get this stuff, give us some options about when we put them in and how we deploy these things. So that process has begun. And the problem is, and as Chris has agreed, that there's just so many different data points to compare. What these things can do now is just astounding and wonderful, but it also means that comparing them is and it's going to take some research. It's going to take more than just Chris, that's for sure, to really come up with the things.
Once we do get to the point of implementing them, I have full confidence in my team that we will be able to execute and get these in the ground. But we need to get past this point first, so they're usually pretty easy to get in. It just, we got to decide which ones we wanted to pick from, guys.
Yeah, the more difficult questions appear to be, because everything we've seen so far, it looks like the actual physical implementation will be pretty straightforward. It looks like most of them are plug and play with, putting them installing them as meters will be something these guys are well versed in. It doesn't present any, wackadoodle assembly or anything. Where it's challenging is figuring out, all of the things that protect us, like warranties and durability and all of those kinds of questions, and accuracy, and what kind of signal strength they have, and what sort of infrastructure we need in order to best take advantage of the available bandwidth of that signal.
Who owns it? Yeah, who owns
the compatibility with our Koozie software. The ultimate sort of the holy grail here is something that finds its way from the meter to the customer line in Koozie without any human having to mess with it. And, so that we don't have all the sort of ad hoc adjusting that we have now. But whether we can do that or not remains to be seen. We have to look at all those things. So there's a lot, and it's exciting and interesting, but it's also like, holy cow, all this stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
it
I'm
is.
glad
It's
you're,
ridiculous.
yeah, I'm glad you're thinking about it and pulling that together.
If anybody wants any data, I can send it your way. Anytime you want to look at something that takes hours to look at, feel free to just, I got plenty.
Thanks.
I just sent Bill a bunch of stuff just 10 minutes ago or yesterday or something like that. I can't remember. So,
But-
and he has plenty of stuff himself,
We are absolutely leaping into the 21st century in this part of the project. That's for
Yes,
sure.
we are.
Okay. Discussion and action on laptop purchase request.
Okay. I would like to turn that over to Debbie. The reason I say that is I can give a little explanation of what I need and why I need it if that would make it easier. First, Debbie, is that okay?
Yeah, why don't you explain the need, right?
Okay. So they're going to tear my plan apart. I'm not going to have an office. Not that I have much of one right now, but I'm going to have my computer while this is happening. It's going to be at the town hall. And while this is happening, I'm also a water plant chief operator, and I need my computer to do my daily operations while I'm at the plant performing my duties as far as making water. So there lies the problem. And having something that's compatible, that can integrate with my files from my computer to my laptop would be indispensable to me.
So, Advantage is our IT vendor, and Chris reached out to them and asked them for some parameters on what type of laptop he needed and to give him a quote. And the quote is attached as item number 1, and their total price to do that for the equipment is, as you see, the $985.55. And then that will take about 2 hours for them to set it up and download the Office suite that we use, allow it to hook to the share drive, and get it ready for use so that Chris has his Office login on his laptop and that kind of thing. So all the security features are there just as they would be on his desktop. And that typically takes about 2 hours. Really, Chris just needs Office software, so just the Word and Excel and things like that. There's no special programs or VPN interface or anything like that that's concerned. So 2 hours really should be sufficient. However, it is an estimate, so please do keep that in mind. So that seemed a little pricey for a lot of the equipment, and in the interest of bidding out, Chris Spanos did some research and found some other options where we could buy the laptop outright, and then Advantage would just set it up for us. And that's what we did with the laptops that we received in the office here when COVID hit, so that we could work virtually and run Zoom meetings. One of the disadvantages of that is that when your equipment goes down, it's our fun to fix it. If we buy something from Advantage, they help us with backup equipment and replacement and that kind of thing. And I'll tell you that we've had 2 of the Lenovo's that we bought, one from Angie and one just right now while Tanner Hayde was talking, went down in their video screen on mine. So, that's just something to think about. Anyway, these are the options that they've come forward with. And my only recommendation when you think about a motion is to sort of just set a maximum amount of money, because perhaps the Best Buy option might not be there when they go to actually purchase it, if you follow my drift. So if you set a maximum, then that helps in some flexibility, unless you have a very specific request. And Barb has her hand up.
Yeah, what will happen to Chris's desktop in the interim while his office is being rebuilt?
Well, he's gonna have
An office.
a table up here in the conference room, and it will be here.
Oh, I
in the-
thought I was
in the
getting,
town hall.
I thought I was getting a office with a view and.
You did, me too.
A view
You
of
know-
what?
I don't know.
So
Yeah,
the
we're gonna,
laptop,
he'll be up here.
the laptop is for portable purposes and field work.
Yes.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I can take it to the plant and if need to be, take it home. Like right now I'm utilizing my girlfriend's laptop to do this meeting.
Yeah, okay.
And
I guess, Deb, I want to ask you a question. So
Sure.
usually when you buy a laptop, they offer a service plan with it. Like Office Depot or Best Buy would offer a service plan with it. Is that
That is a great question, Laurel. And
So-
honestly, I really didn't look into that. And I'm looking right now at what we have in what you have. Go ahead, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just coughing.
Okay, so, most of them, have a limited 1-year warranty. That's pretty standard. Some of them, the manufacturer warranty is not available. And you're right, we may be able to get some kind, like if you got it from Best Buy or something, maybe there's some protection that you can get. So for instance, on the Best Buy, oh my goodness, on the Best Buy item, there is a 1-year accident Geek Squad protection for $44. I don't know that, I don't know, you gotta weigh the,
No, that's expensive for
that's
1
pretty
year.
expensive, yeah.
so I think the advantage cost was what $1,100 total was
Right.
was what they were at. But Debbie just brought up a good point. If we're having ones that are failing now and Advantage actually services ones that do go bad, maybe they're not such a bad. Maybe we should leave the option as far as I don't know. I'm not going to put words in your guys' mouth, but
So
maybe it's not such a bad deal.
What is it? What is the advantage? So you're saying if you get the Advantage computer, it comes with a warranty to it?
Well, they'll not, if it fails, if it completely fails, then there's some cost. Obviously, you're gonna have to replace it, but when the video card goes, they aren't gonna help us fix it in any way.
So what's the advantage of Advantage then?
Well, they would give you a loaner, and they would provide you with, and then they would take it and they would fix it. And you might get a bill for that, but you're not dealing with it then. You're not having to send it to Lenovo and all that kind of stuff.
So if we
Well-
bought, the one that they gave us originally was a Dell, the original quote I saw. And if we purchased that same computer from Dell, it would have been cheaper and would have had a year more of warranty coverage than it would have if we got it through Advantage. The advantage to Advantage is that it's kind of like an a la carte IT
Right.
department. They'll help us out with it in a way that you really don't get if you just buy it off the shelf or buy it from a website. That's the
And I have to say, I don't know what Deb uses, but I have to use Tyler for probably once a week, or he helps me out with something that's going bad, or helps me out with a scanner that's no longer scanning. It's great service that we're getting
Is he on a retainer, or does he charge every time he comes out?
No,
to
he
look at your
charges, so
scanner?
we should probably talk about that, but yeah.
Well, I only use them when I need to. I only use them when I need to. I
mean, you said
I
once a
don't make
week.
inappropriate phone calls. Huh? But I meant like lately I had to get a scanner that wasn't working because I had a printer that went bad, and I got a brand, and I recently, my computer literally died on me. The screen, the blue screen of death, and I had to literally get a brand new computer. So he had to come in and put in new software, and some of it, when he did put it in, it just needed some tweaking. That's the only reason that it was just recent. But yeah, my computer literally that I had for 7 years prior to that. So the computer was 7 years old, the one that I just recently had replaced.
Yeah, that's pretty old for a computer. It's even
Yeah,
more
so
difficult to get it to do.
so before that, I didn't even know. Before that, I didn't even know who Tyler was.
Yeah.
So
I guess I just want to point out that if your computer has a problem, you can take it to the Geek Squad. You don't have to buy it at Best Buy to take it to the Geek Squad. I mean, there's all companies that'll take your computer and repair it. You don't, they repair different brands of computers.
Okay.
But it might be true that there might be more wear and tear on a computer that's carried around back and forth to the work site. And that's something we should think about. It's not going to stay in one place, right? It's going with you.
It's gonna be moving around with him every day. Yeah.
So that is an important consideration.
I just have to say that Advantage has just been a really reliable service. That's all.
They're just expensive, Chris. I mean, if the most expensive one is the most reliable, I mean.
Oh, no, I'm saying as a whole. That's all. I apologize. I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's okay. I'm just making the point that we're trying to watch our pennies, but still get a good product.
Mhm.
That's all. And still get reliable, something that's reliable.
Well, I see there in Target, there's a Dell Latitude 3000, and Advantage is offering a Dell Latitude 10th generation.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you follow the parameters though. So it has to be all pro.
All of the ones that you chose are ones that you said.
Oh, okay.
were-
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
The only real issue I saw from Advantage is that they're gonna want, if they're gonna assist you with it, they want it to have the pro version of Windows 10.
Windows. Yeah.
And all of these items do.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I'm not a completely layperson computer user. I can build my own and that sort of thing, but I tend to think that looking at the product offerings that they were, I would go for a better quality computer and take the risk of having to take it to Geek Squad, but or having to use the warranty. The i5 that computers have gotten so cheap now, I'd probably go for the better quality unit and focus less on having the support, especially in this instance, because really this is a relatively short window of time that this thing's got to stay alive. And you're
Well, I was hoping that it was actually going to be able to be utilized for. I have training for the guys now because
Right,
of the apprenticeship program.
but
so
the
that
period-
they would be utilizing it to
the period
either-
of critical need is for the period that you're displaced. We can find
Yes.
other uses for it as well. And I don't have a problem with going through Advantage. It is a little bit more expensive, and I may not be the best person to ask because none of that's, I wouldn't need most of what they offer, and I'd be mostly concerned about repair issues and keeping it running. But you know, if you get better components, you have less of that. So, and they're kind of mid-range computers in the quality of computer they're offering in at its price band with, the band of pricing is not the nicest one that you could get. So I tend to emphasize the equipment over the service plan behind it, but we do have a good relationship with Advantage, and they've, you already know how to work with them. So I'm not disparaging that, just my 2 cents there.
Thanks,
So
Bill.
is any of these computers not high quality equipment? Is there any one that,
No, they all followed in the parameters of Advantage, so.
so when you were saying, Bill, you take the higher quality one, is there anyone that's not, that you feel like is not high quality?
I'd have to look again. Just when I looked at the original proposals that came through, I went and shopped the same machine, and it was only an i5 machine, so it was not the fastest machine you could get for $900. You know what I mean? And so if I was going to spend say 900 to say 1,050 on a computer, I would allocate more of my money I'd use more money to buy the better computer and not get the training and the setup and all of that stuff. So I might pay them to come and take everything on my desktop and move it over, and then make it look the same, and they can do that. That's not difficult. Other than that, I don't know what we really don't need that much support, but in my mind. But if you have a sudden unexpected problem with your video card, you may think otherwise. And if I were to have a sudden problem with my video card and it was no longer under warranty, I would either take it to someone like Geek Squad or I would replace it myself. But that's not that hard to do. But not everybody does that, and we can't expect you to be working on your computer while you're also keeping the plan up. So
Thank you.
Those are considerations as well. I tell you that so you understand my perspective.
It sounds like though that he's only going to use it for Microsoft Office and also internet, right? You'll be using a browser and you'll be using the internet.
Yeah, and trust me, guys, staying up on the internet with your guys' emails and with everybody's, with the contractors is crucial for me to stay in contact with everybody.
Yes, that is important.
And Advantage has made sure of that. So,
I have to say, I have to ask a question. So what parameter on a computer makes your computer strong for the internet? Does anybody know that? Because I don't know, but I know that's very important. And I know my computer is not as strong in that aspect as this other one I borrowed from George Mason.
yeah.
Well, processing speed. So that the faster the chip you have, the better everything will run. The more RAM, the more memory you have, not storage memory, but operating memory. The faster it'll run. And there's also varying types of both speed and quality for the NIC card, or the card in which the wireless is either processed through or that you plug your internet cable into. You can have a gigabit card, you can have less than that. It depends on what your priorities are. If you're doing a lot of
Well, we're talking about what Chris needs. That's where our priority is.
Well, if you're doing a lot of, like spreadsheets and number crunching and things like that, you know, I would err on the side of a faster processor.
No, I don't think that there's going to be just big number crunching, you know, with an Excel file.
Yeah,
I think that it's the, yeah, anyway.
It's the internet provided that I need constant access to. That seems to be my biggest problem sometimes.
Yeah.
Getting you guys' data or getting you guys' information back and forth to you seems, you know, is like my top priority. And if I don't have reliable source to do that, like for example, the laptop that I have right now that I'm utilizing on my girlfriend who just recently purchased this one works nowhere near as good as the one at work, where it's reliable, it's fast, and I get all the data. Here I'm getting here with this laptop. I'm literally using 2 phones on top of it just to sometimes transmit my messages to get them through, because sometimes they don't go through on this laptop, and I have to utilize my phone because it works better on that. So
That could be your, I don't know what sort of internet you have there, like what sort of internet service you have.
but I've lost, yeah.
There's a lot of parameters, I guess.
I had it at another house too, and it had the same problem. So it was different, even at different places. I've had the same issues. So
Yeah, there are a lot of factors there to kind of winnow out before you tell where the choke point is that's causing your messages to not go through. But I mean, I don't think he needs like a high-end, you know, video gaming laptop or anything like that.
Nope.
But the better the components, the faster it'll be, and the more reliable it'll function.
Yeah. I just want to make a suggestion. So now this is the first time I've seen this list, and I do think it's an important decision. And you don't need this before our next, or tell me, Chris.
Well, I put this out there because I don't know when
do you
exactly
need this by? That's what I want to know. When do you need it by?
I'm going to say in the next 3 months.
Okay.
But you
So,
know,
can we table this and consult an expert on these the internet capacity? We need somebody like my son, who used to sell these computers.
yeah,
He knows the difference between all of them, and
Yeah.
I would have a chance to ask him.
Okay, if you can provide more data, I feel that I've provided in, you know,
Okay.
I don't have any more knowledge. I'm limited when it comes to computers.
Me too.
I know how they work, and I know what I need.
So then we
You
could
know.
bring this up at the next meeting, and we would get it settled, and we'd have a little bit more information to decide. Is that all right?
It sounds like a good decision.
Is that okay with you, Chris? Because it's your computer.
Again, it'd be nice to have it. It'd be nice to have it at home, you know, as well. Again, doing these meetings and stuff like that.
No, what I'm suggesting is that we not vote on this computer
Okay,
this meeting.
we
but
can
put it
we can
off
wait. We can
until
wait.
the next meeting when we have some more information. Is that
That's-
okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, if I will send it to my son, and I will talk to him about it and share all that information with all of you.
Okay.
Good resource.
Okay. Talk to us, Chris, about the
Snowshoe.
snowshoe.
Okay, so So snowshoe, my registration is $150. It consists of food. It consists of my desperately needed CEHs, certified educational hours. I need 24 of them. They're going to, I already got 6 of them, leaving me with a total of 18. They will provide me with 12.5, leaving me with, what is that? 6.5. I think I still need after that, but I have until next March to get that last 6.5. So I desperately need these hours because of my schedule and because it's very hard for me to get away from the plant. This is a great opportunity for me to get my educational hours. The other thing is, it's been 20 years. I've been wanting to go to this for 20 years. This started back in Berkeley County Water. All the guys got to go. I had a couple opportunities and never had, just never went back then. And it's a great opportunity to meet the vendors in the field. They have training classes that this on top of just that, my educational hours, they have training classes that are going to be provided. And there's going to be vendors there that are in my field that are going to show me what the new technology is, including radio read meters, pipe fitting, all sorts of things that are all up my alley. It's an excellent place for me to actually see people that are in my field that I haven't seen in a while, and make new acquaintances that could be beneficial to helping me to improve my job and make it more efficient. It's $150 for the registration. It's the group rate is at this place called. This is where they got the discount going. It's at the Snowshoe Mountain Resort. My group rate with tax exempt is $119 per night. I'm going to need 4 nights. It's $476 for the 4 nights and $150 for the registration. The math on that is, what is that? $626 if I'm correct, Laurel?
Yes.
Okay. So the last person I sent Benny out. The other possibility is there's a possibility that I may get systems operator of the year. There's been talk about people that said that they're going to vote for me, and we'll see. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that'd be a nice little treat.
Do we need to nominate?
Yeah. They're going to be sending out a pamphlet that's coming in the mail shortly. I talked to them today. Please vote for me. Sorry.
I think we would prepare a nomination for you.
I'd appreciate it. If not, I understand too. But I feel this year I've worked really hard at this, and given my all, and this is my year to shine. So far, it's been fun, it's been challenging, and I've enjoyed working with all of you.
Well, I think the conference is definitely something that you need to participate in, especially since you can pack in a lot of your continuing education credit hours.
Yeah, and that's why they do it too, so that it's it's not only just fun and educational, but you can get your educational hours in as well. I'd love for Bill to come too. I think it would be great if Bill could come. I know he'd get a lot out of it.
This is the wrong time of year to go to Snowshoe, though.
I know it is. No, I just know that you'd have as much fun with it as I would, because you're into this shit.
Whoa, X.
We-
I mean, into this stuff. Sorry, sir.
When is the, when does it take place? How much time do we have here?
It is, well, I'd like to get it on the table because it is August the 15th. So I'm gonna leave the 14th or I'm gonna be there because the classes started in the morning and it's
When
3.5 hours away.
When is the deadline?
14th to the 18th.
When is the deadline for registration?
That will be announced sometime this week. But I'm sure it's going to be. I'm hoping to get this on the table this because I don't want my rooms to get booked up or anything like that. They didn't give me a deadline today because they're still working on numbers and she told me that the registration is going to be announced any day now.
Well, maybe
So-
we should get it approval for this since it's over $500.
Well, that's why I got all the numbers for you so that you guys would have the exact numbers to go in. I did get you guys all the numbers.
You know, we'll probably need to get it on the council agenda
Mhm.
July, no later than the July meeting.
Yes, you most definitely. I was hoping to have it on the June meeting.
Well, I'm thinking, if it's in August and there will be a deadline date, maybe it should be in the June meeting.
Yeah, shouldn't be a reason we can't get it on the June meeting.
Yeah, let's do it sooner rather than later.
That was my whole intention.
Okay. All right, so I'll see about getting that on for the June meeting then.
Do you need an action or just, do you need to make a nomination or something?
Well, I move that, if you want a motion, I'll move that we approve Chris Dyer going to Snowshoe for the annual conference in August.
Yeah, and I'll be using the company truck. I'll be using the company gas and the allotted what we did for Benny. If they don't provide, if not all the food for me, we provided up to, what was it, $53 a day was the going rate. I'll try not to use all that.
Whatever the per diem is what.
Yeah, whatever the per
follow.
diem.
Yeah, I can't remember what that is right now, but yeah.
And what is
We
the,
are, just so you know, I'm sorry, Laura, just so you know that when we get to the fiscal 22 budget, we have allotted for this travel.
Yes.
what is the name of the conference?
Snowshoe Mountain. It's a West Virginia Rural Water Annual Conference at the Snowshoe Resort is what it's called. West Virginia Rural Water Annual Conference.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And when you say company truck, it's not the Chevrolet.
All right. I so much wanted to show that off, Bill. I really did, but I just can't justify using $500 in gas getting her there.
No, no.
I really did. I
you gotta
wanted to take one
Toyota,
force
right?
one. Huh?
Toyota, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I hope not.
Okay, can
Now I'm gonna take the Dodge Ram, the 1500 Dodge Ram. That's my I think it's 2016.
can we move on because it is getting late here?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the wording of the motion. All right.
$526 or
Okay.
$626 total.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I feel like the motion needs to be, well, it needs to have the name of the conference in it and the dates and,
And not to exceed a certain amount of money, I think.
yeah, I think that's
Great.
appropriate.
And include travel expenses, please.
You want to word it, Laurel?
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve Chris Steyer attending the the West Virginia Rural Water Annual Conference in Snowshoe in August.
August 14th to the 18th.
August 14th through the 18th, and approve the expenses for that, for the registration, hotel, per diem for food, and his travel expenses. Not to exceed for the, well, I guess we can say that registration hotel not to exceed $700.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Hey, I'm going to Snowshoe.
Motion carries.
Well, we're going to put it on the agenda for the June meeting of the town council.
Yeah, I'm almost going to Snowshoe.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Next, don't go too far, Deb. You're up.
I'm right here.
We have the fiscal year 22 budget review discussion and action as needed.
Okay.
And
Right.
I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. So you should have gotten a spreadsheet today, and I apologize that it was just today, but it's taken me a while to track down my folks at Couch Holiday, but we got things sorted today. And before I get started, let me just start in concept. This is going to be a little bit different, and moving forward next couple of years as we work on the infrastructure project, things are going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past, because part of what we have to put in our budget is the work that we're going to do on the infrastructure that's not part of the water plant loan project in its entirety. So we're allowing for that in here, and I want you to think back to that moment when we went ahead and the loan was approved and the bond was approved, and there was that item called soft cost that we, as the corporation, had already paid over the past 10 years to GDNF and to other and legal fees that were already paid, fees to our accountant already paid. And those summed up to a chunk of money that when the loan closed came back to us. And part of our agreement in all of that was that we would be using some of that money along with the extra money that's being generated from the amount of the rate increase and then the lower loan payment to fund our infrastructure work. And so keep that in mind as we move through this budget. And if you look on page 1, that you just have your income numbers there. And if you, all that is pretty much as it has been in the past. You'll see that for our water bill payments, that increase now is jumping up because that's a full year at the new rate. And you'll see the very last line above total income, project soft cost reimbursement. In this particular cycle, fiscal 22, and this is just a projection based on information that we know right now, planning for expenses down below, which we'll go through in just a minute. We're anticipating that we would utilize about $35,000 of that soft cost reimbursement. That's not the whole pocket that came to us, but that's what we think we might need this year. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Okay. So now if we go to page 2, and then we'll end up on page 3, we're looking at our expenses. And pretty much everything in here is fairly normal as what you've seen in previous years, except I want to take a stop on the third line down from the top, which is the new meter line. That is sitting in the orange column for proposed for fiscal 22, $30,000. And what I've done here is put in about $2,500 a month in payment for the new meter read program. And that's a little lower than what I even discussed with Bill a couple weeks back.
And me.
The idea is that we want to, we're probably going to need to work out some type of payment plan with this new meter situation. And so this starts us at a level where it may need to go up. But for now, that's something that works into the budget. So it's sitting there about $2,500 a month. And that just, of course, makes the assumption starting July 1, which that's not going to happen. So, so you realize that. If you just drop down 2 lines, capital outlay auto, notice that dropped down to 20,000. That's going to be all the loans that you currently have. And then one of those loans is going to pay off. And so that does not include any new purchases. That's just your loan payments. And now we're going to drop down to underneath maintenance of mains, line 636 contracted services. So everybody's aware that there's been a lot of discussion about how we're going to handle the Elk Run water line crossing over on the National Park Service land. And our most recent estimate of the work that's going to need to be done there is at $105,000. So I figured let's call that 110. It needs to be bid out and all that kind of stuff. And I added another 10,000 just for emergency maintenance of mains contracted services if we were to need it. I'm not going to get into the details of that particular project, but just so that you know, that's what I've allowed in the budget. Going on down. Did someone say?
Yeah, I said, good job. I'm glad you came up with a number, man.
Going on down, then you'll see bonds payable, that 427.3. That's where, our payment going back is to the USD USDA is included, as well as there's another small bond in there on that line item. The plants and salaries does also, and the office salaries also include the 1.3% COLA increase that general fund is getting this year. And then if we go down to on page 3, top line, we've still got 4,000 in there for painting of hydrants. That's maintenance of hydrants. And then let's drop down to about midway down line 631.4, plant maintenance contracted services. So, we've got this sludge basin sediment. Why do I cannot get these words right? The sediment tank, right? The sludge that needs to be removed after it comes out of the water plant. And there's a lot of research being done right now to try to find the most efficient and cost-effective way to remove the sludge that's required to get the new valves put into place in the bottom of those tanks. There's a lot of different numbers that have been tossed about. So what I've put in there is 50,000, and that also gives us a cushion of 15,000 for other maintenance contracted services in the plant throughout the year. And that gives us a starting point for that project. Hopefully we can beat that number. Obviously, with any of these things, any way that we can beat those numbers, it goes to our being able to use more monies for other projects coming down the road. So those are the big changes that also have to really, and also, I'm sorry, if you notice at the bottom, very bottom, the travel expense, that's expenses for training for Chris to go to this program, as well as training for a couple of the other apprentice programs that the guys are anticipating being involved in throughout the year. So those are the highlights. How about I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, the sludge, the sludge we're still working on, and that's unfolding as we speak. And hopefully be able to give her better information and better data as it comes available. And I'm hoping for that in the near future.
Okay, so, and this is a budget, and budgets are, we can revise the budget, but at this point, because we are required to provide information about our budget to the USDA by June 1. This is our starting point, and hopefully we can beat it.
Yeah.
So this is what will go to USDA?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm. So what will happen with this is that on the 25th, when at the town council meeting, they will approve this, and then I'll be able to scoot it off to USDA by June 1.
Okay, good.
Okay.
This looks really good, Deb.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Amazing to have to wrap your mind around all these things.
And
think I got a
Deb,
whole check this
I wish
morning.
I could give you better numbers. Deb, I really do, man. I worked so hard at trying to do that for you, man.
Oh, I know you do, and we'll get there. We'll get there. It's all a process. We're working well together, and yeah, Laurel has her hand up.
My question is the salary for the new administrative head in the budget?
No, ma'am. That is not in here. And that, we need to know what that's going to be. And we need to know, what portion of it will come from here, if it will be shared from somewhere else. So until we have that information, we can't, I don't know what to put in.
Okay, so basically it's a snapshot. This budget is a snapshot.
Yeah, unfortunately, particularly in this case, it kind of has to be, because there are a lot of unknowns unfolding in front of us right now. And so, and we make revisions as we need them. And certainly if that formulation of how we'll provide this administrative person comes in hand and we can sort it all out, then at that time, yeah, we would have to make a revision. Yep.
Yeah, well, there's no question we're going to have it, and the town council already voted for it.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I didn't mean if. I guess I just meant at such time when we sort it and we know if, what percentage of is going to come out of here. Is it all, or is we're going to source it some other way? You know what I'm saying?
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We did want to submit a budget with covered in question marks. But that's not getting ignored. So do I hear a motion to approve the proposed fiscal year 22 budget as presented?
Well, I move that we recommend approval to the town council of this
Yes.
fiscal year 2020 budget that Deb has produced here. That
Second. All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed?
Where's Laurel?
Oh, you're muted, Laurel.
I did agree. I did say aye.
Okay, all right. Motion carries. All right,
Awesome.
Thank you,
All
Deb.
right. Thank you. Okay, and then the next thing are just your financials from March. Unfortunately, we did not get the April ones done quite yet, but these are the ones that were approved by town council in the last meeting. And so if you'd like, I can read you that little summary that I gave to them. If that's something you want me to do. Otherwise, if you're familiar with it and you want to move on just by accepting these, that's fine too. You let me know.
Is there anything that really stands out?
Really, we're really doing well on Mark. We're 75% through. There were a couple of items that were out of whack on the expense side that basically were just put into the wrong category. I put them where I thought they went, but then when I went back and I looked historically, they were assigned somewhere else. I have thusly now fixed that. And so those items that were kind of out of whack or out of pushing too hard over 100% are now rectified where they should be living. So yeah.
Did we just accept, or is there going to make a motion on this?
Do we need to vote?
You should vote to accept.
All right, I move that we vote to accept the financials as presented.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Again, thank you, Deb.
Welcome.
All right. We pretty much covered source water protection. Is there anything else under source water protection that you have to add, Barbara?
No, I think we've got our work cut out for us to,
Yes.
with a couple of projects that we've agreed on. So I don't have anything to
Tyler
add.
Well,
Tanner's keeping us busy.
Yeah.
Okay, water system improvement project update. I mean, we kind of covered this in Chris's report. The plant renovation has officially started. They've broken ground and they're working on exposing the piping at the upper sedimentation tank. There's a lot going on and a lot of moving parts. So we're excited that that started. And we will be keeping everyone updated as that progresses. The distribution system renovation right now, really the two prongs of that are currently active are the research on the meters, which we've already discussed, and preparing ourselves for taking a pretty big bite out of this overall distribution project with the Elks Run moving of the water main project. And that the pace is picked up on preparation for that. We think we've got a pretty good proposal of where it's going to go and how we're going to do it. But there's a lot of legwork to be done to get that to the town council and get our bids materials prepared. I know Christie's done quite a bit of work on that already. But that's where we are on those things. And
it's getting closer.
yes, it is. And it's, it's exciting, but there are a lot of moving parts and it's certainly, I spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people, as is Chris Steyer. Everybody's talking to Chris Steyer because he's down there at the plant. I need to get him to let him keep our plant running and stop worrying about all this other stuff.
I got no choice. I gotta keep two things going at the same time.
Well,
So-
we appreciate it. Old business. We have an ongoing discussion about developing this job description for the administrator, and I think Laurel has some things she wants to say about that.
So basically, yeah, I think when I sent out an email earlier, I misspoke because this is really a water commission and town council needing to work on this job description, and really it's our responsibility. But I was thinking that all four of us, we could all four of us just pass this around, but I actually thought that two people would be better to start with, and then including the bigger circle of passing it around. But actually see that description that Bill sent out is like a superset of all the job description. It really needs to be pared down, and then it needs to be customized with our Harper's Ferry obligations. And so if you I'm open to discussion on that if you feel like it should be different. But I was thinking that I would like to do this, and if one other person wanted to do this with me, we would prepare the sort of like the bare bones of it. Not that it's going to still have a lot of stuff in it, but just get it down to the bones of what this job description is, and then start passing it around with everybody else who needs to look at it and give their input. But I'm open to change if you want on that, because I don't know the best way to go about it, but that was my initial thought about it.
I'm okay with that. I don't know that. I already took one stab at it.
Is there someone who would like to work on it with me?
Laurel, if I had could make the time, I would be willing to work with you on it.
You're seeing 1 month left. And you're really busy right now, I'm sure. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is I could help you in this period of time right now.
Okay, well, that would be good. So then, Christy, would you then give your input in the next stage? So everybody's going to get input into it,
Yeah, I would like to wait until you guys have something in your draft.
worked out. Okay.
Yeah.
So we definitely, we need everybody's input into it, and we can't do it by ourselves, but we'll start the process.
You want to set a date to start, Laurel? Or we could,
Yes, so what is, does anybody know what is the last day that we could send a recommendation to the town council for the next meeting, for the June meeting? What is the day we would need to do that?
5 days before the,
It would need to be on the agenda. Well, you need to have a submission, agenda request on June 7th by noon. And you should technically have with you your attachment. If there's a delay in the attachment, you can get that in the next day. But really, June 7th at noon would be your deadline for the 14th.
Okay, so June 7th at noon.
Okay, so what ideally, we would have this all ironed out by that date, so we can send it to them, and we would also have ironed out how the position's going to get paid for, so that information could also be transmitted. Is there anything else we should provide to the town council? They've already approved it, but these two things are the things that we need in order so that we can start advertising and interviewing.
I'm wondering whether the budget and finance would want to see it before it goes to the town council.
You are your own budget and you are your budget and finance.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're taking
That's true. Never
money
yeah.
from the general fund, they
Right.
don't need, yeah.
You're right. Okay.
Okay, so we might, do you think we need another meeting before June the 7th to talk about this job description and approve it? Or do you think we'll just sort of approve it as we're passing it around and everybody will say, okay, I'm good with it, and we're ready to go? And also about the financials.
Well, why don't we see how what comes out of it after passing it around, whether we need another meeting to
Okay. So I'd like to ask Bill, I think Bill, are you there, Bill?
I'm here.
Okay. Are we going to be able to get the financials worked out by June the 7th?
I doubt it, but we can try.
Has a council member been in touch with Chuck about these financials?
not to my knowledge.
I think that Christian did try to reach out to him. I'm not sure if they've connected. I can check on that.
Well, I think we're going to have a council person in that. It can't
Okay.
just be Bill and Deb and Chuck. I think it's got to have council people in there too.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
I'll make sure they're talking.
So what is the holdup then? Bill, you're saying you're not sure it's going to be done. So what do you think is the holdup?
I said, we have a lot of questions to sort out with Chuck, and his time is difficult to get. So
You sound very doubtful, Bill.
I do. I am. That's a pretty short fuse to get all the financial stuff worked out between now and then. I would love to, but it's sort of an undersell over deliver situation, Laurel.
Well, maybe I should be in on this too, because I have more of a, I mean, I would say I am ready to move on this but I would take some council people with me. Because it's the council who can really make this happen. And if that hasn't been done yet, then I can see why it's not working. You know, that's the way I look at it. If we don't have the council telling him, I mean, that's Chuck's bosses, not you, not us here on the Water Commission. We've got to have that, they're having it done. And I mean, I don't know, that just makes sense to me. I mean, you tell me if that's right or wrong.
I honestly don't, I mean, yeah, I think that because we don't have the authority to spend the money, he's going to take his direction from the council. But as far as working with us to figure out how to make this happen, I don't think having a council member is going to make him any more or less motivated. I think he's on board with this. I didn't get the sense that he was being polite and just telling me no because I wasn't high enough up the food.
You know, maybe he should have come to this meeting because we're really missing his input here. We don't know why this hasn't been approved yet. We don't know why I don't really understand why you're doubtful about it.
Can I say something, Laurel? Can I say something?
You can if you want to.
Okay. I don't know how much this has to do with the next council coming in. If that may have something to do with it, and the fact of the new mayor. I'll be honest. I get the feeling that I'm going to get a phone call from the mayor asking me what's going on here, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just saying there's a lot of moving parts here. That's all.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
Well, the council has embraced this idea, approved it. So to move forward with it without having to move forward with it, I think it wouldn't necessarily require a council person unless they wanted to. It could be me, it could be somebody else. To sit down with Chuck, I don't think there would be any resistance to that. To having the
No, I just think that I think that part of the reason I doubt this would come together by noon on June 7th, Laurel, is that as it currently stands, our budget doesn't hold this salary, and depending on what we make the salary, but the target range that we discussed with Chuck, it's not currently there. Now, there are options that don't currently exist in our budget that we could explore, and those were discussed. And I just don't know that all of those loose ends can get followed up with and definitively worked out as potential places for funding to come from or not in that amount of time. This is going to take some out of the box thinking to pull together under our budget.
Well, you know, Bill, I'm sure everything you're saying is correct, but if there was somebody telling Chuck, we absolutely need this administrative head in our waterworks. We absolutely need it. So we have to find the money. Please look at the budget, look at all the different funds there are and carve it out because we've got to have it. We can start it at a lower rate and have a probation period. And there's a lot of different things we can do. But I don't think Chuck has been told that if I could be wrong about this, but has Chuck been told the town council has voted for this position? And so he is supposed to create the money for it. That's what we need him to do. Has it been put in this way, Chuck? Because that's the way I would put it. Is that it's been voted for and we must find the money. You know, that's what I think.
Okay. I assume he's aware, but I'm not sure that whether he is or he isn't.
Barbara, do you remember what the wording was when the council supported this? Because I thought there was something about if the money can be found. I thought
Yeah.
maybe that's why Chuck's not working on it.
Yeah, let me see if I
I
can,
have the wording.
okay.
Not if, it's subject to.
Give me a second here. I have it right here. It says move to approve the creation and the development of a job description for an administrator who will have the oversight of the day-to-day operations of the waterworks at a rate to be determined with benefits and incentives contingent upon fiscal feasibility, excuse me. So really the motion is just to create the job description. You want me to read it again?
Well, it creates the position. We just can't hire or make any.
Yeah, that's the first step, is to get.
So next step is we got to pull together our job description and then and concurrently work on how we're going to achieve fiscal feasibility.
Right.
And
At the same time, I still haven't gotten a raise.
so we are, I think that currently the money's not in the budget. And if we're going to make that money appear in the budget, it's going to take some coordination with the town council, and it's going to take more than Chuck's decision-making. I think we're at the point where we need to sit down and look at alternate ways to fund this, and then take our ideas of where we think we have additional funding that we can utilize for this to Chuck and say, Chuck, can you make this work for us? As opposed to telling Chuck, make this money appear, because you can't get blood from a stone, and he can't make our budget different. He just takes the information we give him and tells us, what it means.
I don't think I'm advocating getting blood from a stone. So basically what I do know is that Chuck knows our budget and are all those different funds better than anybody. He has all that knowledge. He really understands this fund can be used for this fund can be used for that. And he has more knowledge than anybody of how money can be used and how you can move it around. And so that's why I'm saying he has to be the one to find it, because I don't believe anybody else does. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Deb, you do. Maybe you understand all those funds. But I know Chuck does. And that's really why I'm saying that he's got to be the one to do it. And all he needs is someone asking him to do it. I'm not saying we order him or anything. It's just that we ask him, this is what we want. We've got to find the money. Can you find it? What could be done? I believe he could fashion an answer out of it, but he just has to be asked by somebody of authority. And we're not really the authority. Now, Barbara, you would be, because you're on the town council, but the Water Commission, we're not his bosses. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here. I think I've said what I think, and I'm happy to hear all of your points of view as well. But it sounds to me like I just wish I would like the town council to be more involved with him so that he understands the importance of this. I mean, what's going on right now? I'm spending a lot of hours on the National Park Service meters. I'm looking at the rate in Cousy. Bill, you're doing a lot over there at the plant of overseeing. Barbara and Christy always are doing a lot of administrative work. We have no,
We have the grant administrative stuff.
we need an administrator. And that's why we're getting one. And so the sooner we can get one in and start the process, the better.
Well, actually, our first step needs to be to get the job described, and then
Yes, we do. And we have a plan to do that.
and we can at the same time, as we get closer to having it described, we can start working with telling Chuck what we're expecting, and move in that direction too. But right now, I think we need to get the job description done.
Yeah, definitely. We have a plan to do that. And we are going to try to get that done by June the 7th.
Okay.
Laurel, do you want to meet on Monday, May 24th?
Yeah. I'll work on it beforehand, and I'm sure you may have as well, and we can get together and see what we've come up with.
Okay. Say 10 o'clock. Have to do it in the morning.
I'm looking to. Okay, 10 o'clock.
All right. Do we have, is there any public comment? Is there anybody out there, Deb?
Oh,
Christy has her hand raised, but
yeah.
it's not the public comment.
Okay, Christy, comment.
When are we going to be meeting in the town hall again?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the mask mandate change just happened. So I don't know. And things are really now I just don't know the answer to that question. And I guess the office ops would typically meet and discuss that and pass that on to council. I haven't heard a meeting evolving for that.
Okay, because it would be so much easier for me in a lot of respects to have meetings down there instead of relying on our sketchy internet service here.
Hey, I like Zoom.
I do too.
I'm not sure Deb likes Zoom, but it gives us there are advantages to meeting in person, certainly, but I'll wait to see what Office Ops says. If there's no public comment, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I still move.
All right, all those in favor? Or second,
Aye.
all those in favor?
I
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.